Me as MC Pademan. I'm your host this evening, and guess what? In the studios, I have two beautiful ladies. I'm the only man, and should I say I'm scared? But ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome the two beautiful ladies. I won't introduce them. I want to hear them introduce themselves, because everything they say, men introduce. So it's going to be your turn. Introduce yourself. Tell people what you do and what package do you have for them today.
Thank you very much for having us here. My name is Ruth Asimwe, and I work with an organization called Youthline Forum, which is a youth-led and focused organization. And I'm happy to be here and looking forward to talking about young people, especially young people here in the region. Thank you.
Yeah, that's August number one, Ruth Asimwe. Paco, I think she didn't put it, but
Paco Yanga did.
Paco Yanga did. Maybe I thought you were from maybe Karamoja. We give you one today.
Paco Yanga did.
Paco Yanga did. So Ruth Asimwe is going to be one of our people going to share with us about youth today, and I hope you young people, especially the ladies, you'll be inspired, and there's something to get from our presentation. Number two.
Thank you very much, our presenter today. Good evening, everyone out there. I'm called Macbeth Komushuni at working. I'm self-employed, and I'm lucky to be here today. I look forward to talking more about the youth as the program uncovers.
All right, everybody is very ready and very prepared to talk about the youth. But you, as the youth outside there, I know you have a lot of questions on your mind. Maybe there are questions you want people to maybe enlighten you more. There's something you want to know about the youth. If it can be answered today, maybe one of my guests will have an opportunity to answer. That's why I go and I tell you, go straight to our Facebook page or run to Twitter. You can also put your comments down on the live stream on YouTube so that we can be able to share them with our presenter. So Ruth, you're an executive director of an NGO, right?
Yes,
tell us more about your NGO.
Yes, I'm executive director for an organization called the Youthline Forum. And the Youthline Forum is a youth-led and focused organization. And we work with young people aged between 18 to 30. But also we are cognizant of the fact that an average age of a Ugandan is a 16-year-old person. So when we're doing our programming, we also look out for young people who are aged between 16. And then we take it a little bit further and we look at young people who go up to the age of 35. And the work that we have been doing for the last 10 years is about leadership development, because we're very passionate about seeing young people lead. We want them to lead not just in politics, we want them to lead organizations, we want them to lead homes, we want them to lead communities, we want them to lead churches. Like generally, we just want to see a young person leading. So those are that is one of the programs that we do. We have a Young Leaders Academy, and hopefully I'll talk more about it later, because we really want to bring it to Toro region. And then our second programming is about the graduate internship program. And here we look at, there are many young people who are out there in the universities, the tertiary institutions, but they do not have access to jobs, but also the experience. They do not have experience what they're taught in the universities. They need a place to go and practice. And we have access to organizations that can give them internships. So what we do is really link up these young people who are just straight from the university, and even those who are still at the university looking out for internships. They come to us, and then we look for organizations that can be able to place them in the organizations. And our third program is about politics and people in politics. We want to see young people join politics. And the reason we want to see us, the young people in politics, is because the people that are leading us now, if you see all the politicians that we have, starting from the president of this country, when you look at the president, when you look at the ministers, everyone started their career at the university. So that's where they launched their careers from. And now we're looking at those young people at the universities. Can they start their careers now, their political career, those who are interested? And we give mentorship and leadership training for young people who want to join politics, but also support them and attach them to other great leaders that can inspire them to lead. And the other part is about a civic space. And the civic space is just beyond young people. It's also about young people's organizations. And with civic space, we know that currently in Uganda, we do not have a lot of opportunities to express ourselves, especially when it comes to issues of participation, issues of governance, issues of accountability. That space is shrinking. It's not there anymore. So we look at these organizations that are doing work around politics, are doing work around governance, are doing work around accountability. How can they be able to still talk about certain issues and their rights be protected? And yeah, I'll end there. We have another one for students, actually. Let me not end there. This is the last one that I'll talk about as I'm talking about Youthline Forum. The one for students is movement building, university activism. So we know that sometimes as university students, when they talk for themselves, they can be fired. You know, by fired, they can be chased away from schools or from universities. So a movement building program is about how can a student from Mountains of the Moon University talk about issues of students that are maybe from Uganda Pentecostal University. Can they talk about issues of students at Mbarara University? Can they talk about, you know, it's about solidarity. Young people in the universities being able to stand together in solidarity and address issues that are affecting their universities. And beyond Uganda, we also do the same program in Kenya and Tanzania. I could go on and on, but I will leave it at that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can see you have a lot to share with us, and your programs are quite interesting. But I hope next time we shall have more time with you, Ruth, and you explain more, because I see this is exactly what people in Toro might need, especially the youth. Macbeth, you are an entrepreneur and an administrator. Do you think the youth in Uganda have really taken up entrepreneurship as part of life?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, the president of today. Personally, I'll talk about the youth. The current way of living, the youth want to stay in town. If they literally wanted to go more in the villages and other areas and try to develop them, Uganda as a country would be having those problems they're having now, like jobs are scarce, people are stuck in towns, they are putting on coats and suits. They want those white collar jobs, forgetting that back in the villages is where the story begins. So literally, I think if the youth, today as the youth, we looked at it at a wider range, and we try going back to where our roots start in the villages, we try agriculture and other things, we'll develop Uganda. Actually, it all starts from the village. You want to go to the office is a fault, so what is next? You improvise. You can even be there and you create your own jobs. There are many opportunities the youth are overlooking. So I'm thinking if the youth can think about it and go back to where it all starts. If you fail to get a job in office, you go back in the village, or you go on the grounds and find out something to do to make you busy instead of keeping idle and complaining all the time. There are no jobs, there are no jobs. Jobs are there, they're in plenty. But we're overlooking them. We are just sitting around waiting for the white collar jobs to turn up, of which there are less. Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe to get back to you, Ruth, we have just celebrated the International Youth Day, and what do you think are the main achievements for the young people in Uganda, maybe in the last 2 years or one?
So for International Youth Day, it was a good celebration. Actually, the International Youth Day happens every 12th of August. And we got to realize that people get to know about Women's Day, but when it comes to Youth Day, there are not so many people that know about it. But this year we took it round. We don't just celebrate it on 12th August, but we had a whole range of activities that we did with and for the young people throughout the entire month of August. And we are taking it beyond August. We are even continuing to engage with young people and for the young people. And the International Youth Day, this time around, we're talking about green skilling towards a sustainable world. And with green skilling, I think the first achievement that we had is that people got to know about green skills. So it's not a concept that most people are familiar with. So they got to know about green skilling. And when we talk about green skilling, we are talking about sustainable agriculture. And sustainable agriculture, I think we went in a lot, we talked a little bit more about climate smart agriculture and found that young people were most interested in that. Because as Beth says, the white collar jobs are not there anymore. And it is a mindset issue that needs to change, that, for you to be able to get employment, you do not have to be at office. You can have a small garden, and that's what climate smart agriculture is all about. Even if you have a small garden and you can be able to produce maybe green pepper, there is a lot that you can be able to export and have an income. We talked about poultry farming. It's about agroforestry, wetland management, so I could go on and go on. But the first achievement was young people were able to engage with the topic. They were able to understand what green skilling is. They were able to understand that actually this is something that we could be able to do. And they went ahead and did exhibitions, because most times when we talk about the achievements of young people, others think that no, young people are lazy, young people are just there not doing anything, they're not motivated. But if you went to the exhibitions and saw what young people are doing in the communities, what young people are doing in the villages, you will be shocked. They are the ones that are facilitating access to markets, they're trying to get incomes, they're really working hard, they're flexible, they are thriving, they are motivated. Even when we don't see it, the media does not bring it. They want to portray a certain picture of young people, but actually this was a time where we could get out and see what young people are achieving. But also beyond the young people, it also came back to us as the youth sector, seeing that can different organizations be able to work together? Can we partner together instead of working in isolation? One day you're here doing this, then another organization goes there and does the same thing. But like, how can we all together share our work plans, share our budgets, support each other, lift each other up, and be able to grow a stronger youth sector? Yeah, and I think beyond that, we also looked at other things, leadership, we looked at politics, looked at what is happening right now that young people can engage with, especially a young person in the rural community.
All right, it was quite an interesting one, because I'm seeing most of the youth concerns in Uganda were covered from politics to entrepreneurship to green technologies and what, and I think this is where the country is heading, because if you look at Toro, mostly youth have gone so much into redundance on streets, playing cards, playing draft, and the gambling is the main cause. Actually, they are spending more time in gaming halls than actually workplaces and this. Maybe to get to Macbeth one more time. Most of the youth fear getting loans to start up businesses. And do you think a youth can start from zero? Like they always say, zero. They can start up from zero and build to something in Uganda today?
Thank you very much. Yes, a youth can start from zero. Like I said, I still say we should focus on the rural areas, our home backgrounds, our villages. Because literally, look at it at this angle. You go back home, you start from grazing, like, okay, not grazing, that is a little bit high. Small agriculture. You sell to the market, you take back home. You can't get a loan when you have nothing, no.
Yeah, actually, there's a time I was in Kenya and I was seeing people planting greens in car tires, sacks.
Jeans, old jeans, actually,
yes.
everything works, yeah.
Yes, and I felt these people told us that each time they could harvest, they would go on and get like around 1,000 Kenyan shillings. That's around 30,000 Ugandan shillings, but just from a small portion of area.
Actually, talking about that, if you've noticed, most of the crafts are made out of old tins.
Yeah.
It's called waste management material something.
Yeah.
You get something which has been used and you make it into something important.
Yeah.
For example, you can get broken tiles and you design them into something. I think you've seen people use that. You can get broken bottles, empty bottles, you can design the flower holders, anything. You can turn anything into something, as long as your mindset is focused and you're ready to be the way you want to be.
True. Interesting conversation around here. So, coming back to you, Ruth, what are your key programs for young people in Toro region? Specifically Toro region.
So, Can I also build on to what?
Yeah, you can build on that.
What
Sure.
Beth has said.
Yeah.
So just to build on to that, and then I will share our key programming for the region. And when we talk about loans for young people, they can be able to access loans, but also government has a lot of programming that young people can be able to tap into. And we have always talked about the Youth Livelihood Fund and the Youth Livelihood Fund, especially here in the region. There's a time when money comes in Fort Portal and it goes back in Chendoto, it happened the other time. So that means young people are not getting this fund. And there are two possibilities. There is the possibility that the money comes and young people are not aware that it's there, or they are not organized enough, because for you to get it, you should be around 10 people.
Yeah.
But also there is a possibility that when it comes, the leaders that we have are not fast enough to say, do you know what, there is a young person here who needs access to this money, let that money go to them. So government and our leaders here, you should just enable that the young people are able to access the Youth Livelihood Fund. And if money is made for the young people, let that young person be able to access it. And there is a lot of success rate amongst the young people who have received it. I have done this study together with the Ministry of Gender. You find that those who are organized, well mobilized, and they are well supported and mentored, when they receive the money, they're able to do well with it, and they succeed, and they get the jobs that they need. So if government can work with the young people specifically on the Youth Livelihood Fund, and specifically ensure that when that money comes meant for young people, let them be the one to benefit from it. And of course there are other programs like the Women Entrepreneurship Program. Right now we have the village parish development model. We have Emyoga. There is a lot that we can be able to tap into as young people, so that we get a loan or a small grant and be able to run our businesses. And part of the work as Youthline Forum, now to answer your question, part of the work that we do in advocacy is working together with the government, private sector, and other civil society organizations to ensure that there is proper accountability for money that is received. So if there is any young person out there that is looking out for accountability, that's what we bring on the table. But we also have just launched a Young Leaders Academy. And the Young Leaders Academy is looking out for young people in and out of school that is aged between 18 to 30. And it's a leadership program. We take you training for about 3 months. And I will give you the details. So if there is anyone who is interested in knowing more, you can come to our Facebook page or to our website or Twitter, and then you learn more about our Young Leaders program. And we're bringing it specifically here in Toro, and we shall launch it 2 weeks from now. And apart from the Young Leaders Academy, if there is any young person out there who is looking out for internship opportunities, a graduate internship program, it is also that opportunity. You can still talk to us, and we see how we connect you to the different organizations that we have here in the region. And the last one is for young people in politics. We know 2026 is coming, and I do not want to talk politics now, but we are starting to groom, to mentor, to ensure that this time around young people take power. And specifically for this region, let us get into those leadership positions, specifically political positions, so that we can be able to influence the decision-making processes at that level. So we have our political program that we are launching soon, so that we go through a process, so that by the time 2026 comes, the young women specifically, are supported to get into political leadership. Yes, please.
Some quite interesting programs coming in for Toro region. I hope the youth outside there, you're very ready and very willing to join these programs, because if I think I should also join politics, because I need to be mentored to take over and maybe become an area member of parliament, because I feel I have a lot to tell the people. But Ruth, just to read about some few comments from our viewership here. They say, hey Pade, thanks for the program, and thank the presenters for today and what they have shared for us. Youthline Forum has been supporting our our programs, especially the Toro People's Conference. You support also that one. I didn't know. Then the most recent one of the Awakening the Lion in Toro Youth, that was held yesterday at Fort Breathe Hotel. We thank you, and we thank you very much. Talking about that, yesterday, I think young people really enjoyed. I was interviewing people live, and I followed young people rubbing shoulders with the general. And that was quite interesting. Young people rubbing with the deputy mayor of Kampala city and other leaders. Young people seem to be interested and asking them questions openly. I think that was a plus one for Youthline Forum. And I thank you for that. And I think this is the way to go. Ask Ruth. Yes, ask Ruth. How can one access their offices for more information? Then I want to look for the one for entrepreneurship. People are more into leadership. Yes, this one. They are here. This one is Ronnie. Ronnie says, can you kindly tell us about the Youth Livelihood Program, more about the Youth Livelihood Program? I think I'll pick a few of that because of time, because we have another program coming in next. But maybe whatever you feel like you should have a say about it, you'll say. But in your conclusive maybe remarks, and what do you want to, which words of encouragement did you give the young entrepreneurs, the young youth who want to start businesses, the young youth who want to start up something for themselves, Macbeth?
Thank you. I'm calling upon the youth. Kindly don't focus on white-collar jobs. Go back there. It's where the story begins. It's where everything starts. Let's look at nature. Let's use nature. We have free nature. Actually, nature is free.
Yeah, true.
Nature is free. We can use the brains. We can use the brains and, make it work out. We need to support the people back there. But people back there are very old.
And besides Macbeth, the informal jobs, the informal sector, these guys making chapatis, these people washing cars, they're getting a lot of money. A friend of mine told me he washes cars here at, I think, one of the washing boys in town. He tells me he can wash around 7 to 10 cars a day, whereby he's getting 7,000. That's around 70,000 per day.
And you might find he's a graduate.
Yes, he is actually.
Actually, it doesn't matter. And one challenge I've seen around, people go to the universities without being oriented. They just go and do courses. I have a friend of mine who was complaining, I wish I knew I wouldn't have done this course. So literally I call upon the youth, before you go to the university, get orientation from your parents, and again reach at the university and ask around. If I do this course, what will I do? But all in all, don't give up. Be job creators, not job seekers. It works very much. It makes a lot of sense.
True, some encouraging words. Be job creators, not job seekers. Ruth, in your conclusive remarks, what conclusive remarks do you have for the youth in Toro?
Yes, one, for the youth in Toro, I think it's an opportunity to get up and thrive. Yesterday's conference was just the beginning, awakening the young people in Toro. And yeah, let's just start there and thrive and work together and lift each other up and not tear each other apart. Let's see how can we be able to get those jobs, how can we be able to get to those workplaces, how can we be able to get access to markets, like how can we support each other as young people, and we thrive and we build our region together. And also to say that the informal sector is the one that is running Uganda right now. It accounts for 77% of the income that we get. Everything that is happening, the income that is coming in Uganda, 77% of that is in the informal sector. So let's have that mindset change and really take it up and look at the informal sector as our source of income. And of course, as I conclude, I want to talk to our leaders. And so the people that are leading us, not here just in Uganda, but also in the entire country. There was a report by the IGG about 2 years ago that we lose about 10 trillion to corruption. And the Independent later in 2022, that was last year, said that every year we lose about 19 trillion to corruption. And Daily Monitor this year reported that we are losing about 20 trillion to corruption. So whatever the statistic is true, the amount that we're losing is a lot. 10 million is lost every hour due to corruption. If that money can really come to the young people, that money is a lot, even if it's just a percentage, even if it's just like 2% of that money goes to where it is supposed to be. And specifically for young people, then young people would be better supported. So my call upon government is please let us put the resources where they're supposed to be. If resources are meant for women, let them go to women. If they're meant for private sector, let them go there. If they are meant for young people, let the resources go to young people so that we can be able to lift the country up. And the person asked about Youthline Forum offices. We are located on Sechala Drive, that is in Ntinda. But also when you check out again our Twitter page, you'll be able to see where our offices are, and we can always be able to get back to you. And we are the home of young people in Uganda. If you ever come to Kampala, that's where our head office is, and you want a place to sit and work, as long as you're a young person, you're always welcome. Thank you very much.
All right, batoro bagamba no almarunga kwarake inoka, but I'm getting interested in all these Youthline programs. What I can ask Ruth about is make sure 4TV is involved in the coverages and everything, so that people here can keep following you up and really let's broadcast these things to the people, because you go there, maybe you meet some sector of people, young people, maybe these others miss out. And let's have more programs from Youthline Forum. You come here, enlighten more about the youth programs and the rest. From me and 4TV, we thank you. It has been a pleasure hosting you beautiful ladies, and it's a weekend. I don't know where we are going next, but catch us up from us. Thank you, my producer Monday, for the great work. And all I can say, as always, before I leave, I say stay entertained.